and let's roll out. Roll out, roll out, roll out, let's roll out.
All right, ladies and germs, we're back. Separate, but together. Again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Food, Fitness, and Fun with Dre and JD.
Yeah,
This
baby.
is episode 16.
Yeah.
1-6, baby. These things
Sweet
are moving.
16.
Sweet 16. And this episode, wait, what was that? Huh?
Sweet. Little
Sweet
sweet.
16. The sweet.
Little sweet. That's my dude. Little sweet.
Yo, that shit is
Just come in like
classic.
Little
Nigga said, little sweet coming off the balcony. He was announcing where he was coming from.
Son, he was great. And then he would
Yeah.
announce when he's leaving. Little sweet.
Right.
Going out the
You know what I'm
window.
saying?
You know what I mean?
He had the illest intros and outros.
Yo, he was dope. I had a friend of mine that
I don't know
who
who
that
came
was.
up with that. I don't know who
Genius.
came up with that, but they should have been paid.
Genius. I had a friend of mine
Hey.
didn't know who Little Sweet was. I was like, all right, we about to do this deep dive on YouTube and watch all of these Little Sweet commercials. You gonna get into this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a YouTube collab with all of them.
Right. That's what exactly we did, just deep dive into all of them joints. Because them shits are hilarious.
Right. Here. Let's watch all of them back to back.
Right. Exactly.
Word.
Get on this.
Little Sneak said, it's the sweet. I love it, son. I
Little
love
Sweet
it.
16.
The fucking best.
Little
You know what I'm saying?
Sweet
That
16.
might be the name of this episode. Little Sweet 16.
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying? Word.
No doubt.
So, we're going to keep our sponsored by segment.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by a smoothie bowl. I make all kind of different smoothie bowls. So we got what we got in here. I usually put green apple to make it a little tart. Why?
Yeah.
Because I always try to balance out my sweets. So I put a truckload of spinach.
Nice.
I like to use baby spinach. I like to use green apple. And then I got some other stuff in here. And then I like to top it with some granola, some banana,
Nice.
some blueberries. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Try to balance my joint out.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So I'll put that on the screen for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Be somewhere up in here. And recipe, I could put something loose up. I don't usually do it by exact measurements. But I try to make the main thing, like the heaviest thing, the baby spinach, to balance out all the fruits. And I've said it here, but I'll say it again. The reason why I put so many fruits is because this is how I get my daily fruit intake.
Right.
I don't eat a lot of fruits, not because I don't like fruits, but just because, you know, being busy and stuff like that. So this is my little cheat code. This is what I do to get it all in. Dame mas.
You're hacking. You're hacking it right now.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the
Amen.
kids say.
That's
That's
what
a
the kids say.
life hack.
Right. Yeah. Life
So-
hack.
That's my little life hack. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So
Alright.
there it is. So there's a smoothie bowl. We'll be back next week with some new fly recipe food. We're keeping this going. So this is our beginning segment of the pod, sponsored by.
Yeah.
All right.
Into that.
Yeah. So all right, let's dive into this next topic. A lot of people are speaking about possible lockdowns. With all the restrictions and mandates, there are a lot of discussions about people just not having access.
Right.
And we're gonna get into that mandate stuff in a minute. But I just want to talk about some alternative methods. A lot of people in the beginning of the virus and the beginning of lockdowns way back, they began to do alternative methods. They began to use alternative methods of working out. And I just want to discuss that because I feel like a lot of people in the beginning, we kind of did it out of necessity. It was like, oh, no gym. Oh, damn, what I'm going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like you speak about how you jumped on your bike. I've spoken about how I did things at home and also ran, but it was kind of like a grab and go. It was like, okay, what's available? All right, damn, all I got is this bike. All right, I'm a bike. Oh man, all I got is this small space in my small apartment. I'm gonna see what I could do on a yoga mat. All right, cool. So I kind of want to speak about like organized chaos type shit, right? So
Yeah.
if gyms are gone, right? Like if they shut us down for another lockdown, or if it's on some New York City past mandate shit where it's like, hey, you're not vaxxed, not welcome. Because I already tried to go to the gym before the mandate started, and a Planet Fitness was on some like, hey, so you got to fill out this form and show us your vax card, and then we'll upload. Whoa. That don't even start. It didn't even start. That just started this week. Today is the 15th when we're recording. It just started this week. Monday it started on like the 13th, if I'm correct. I'm talking about like 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, they was on some like, nah, player, no vax card, no entry. So that's what I want to discuss. What can people do? How should they proceed if there is no longer access to a gym? So
Yeah.
you can dive in, brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already have prior experience, right? So before it kind of caught us off guard, nobody knew this was going to happen. And we all thought, oh, yeah, in a week or two, this will fly by and we'll be back. No one
Right.
predicted it was going to be a year and a half. So with that information,
Correct.
now it's time to say, okay, this happened before. And before it happens, try to arm yourself. And what does that look like? Well, you can get things now before there's a big rush to go out and buy things, because once
Right.
things close down, we know the prices are going to go crazy. So now is the time to start doing some, some shopping. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe you're not buying, but you're just kind of looking at prices. Maybe you got an Amazon wish list going, and you just kind of like putting things in there. And
Right.
I would say, well, what do you need? A good set of dumbbells.
Right.
If you can get the adjustable dumbbells, that's dope. People like you and I, we don't have a lot of space. The adjustable dumbbells are great when you
Right.
don't have a lot of space, so that you can have some like resistance. Speaking of resistance bands.
Talk about it.
Resistance bands are great. They're small, they're compact,
Yeah.
something you could throw on your back. So if you're like running or riding a bike, like what I would do is I would ride my bike to some area, probably a park or something, and do body weight exercises. But if I had the bands,
Right.
I could do those same body weight exercises, but then I could use the bands to give me more lift or more resistance.
Yep. More resistance.
Because
That's right.
Yeah, that's the problem with me with body weight exercises, why I hate them, because body weight exercises is just doing the same body weight, so it's like going to the gym and only doing 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't do 190, you can't do 250. It's just always just 200 pounds. And so it's a stimulus, but you're not getting that variation that builds more muscle. And so when you have resistance bands, the resistance bands can either support you, so it's doing less weight, giving you a little bit of help, or it can make it harder based on the exercise that you're doing. So that, let's say you weigh 200 pounds, well, now with the resistance bands, because it's assisting you, it's more like 180, or because the way you configured the exercise is making it harder, so now it's more like 230. So resistance bands are a good investment, and something that you want to kind of look at in case things shut down. You might want to start looking at maybe some kicks. If you're a runner, to be like, hey, do I have good kicks? Is your kicks good right now, or do you feel like, what, I probably need a new pair? Start looking at some kicks. Also, now's the time to start talking to people who you might know that got those private gyms. A lot of people, not private gyms, I shouldn't say private gyms. It's like a lot of people made their own home gyms, right? So last year people was like,
I knew what you meant. Yeah, I knew you meant the home gym.
Yeah, a lot of people had their own home gyms. And what happened was those neighbors became really popular, So now's the time to start saying, hey, either I'm going to try to create my own home gym or something like that, or I'm going to get to know, Frank down the street who I know he got the home gym popping, and
Right.
just start talking to him, getting a little bit more
Right.
buddy, getting a closer relationship. So if it does shut down, be like, hey, Frank, remember we talked
Right.
about this? My dude, you're gonna open that
Right.
up, so I can be part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So these are some things that you can start looking at now before it happens. Put that work in, because when it does, you want to have that plan. You don't want to be like, oh my God, what I do.
Right.
If you got your plan set up, you can go, all right, I got my plan A, my plan B, my plan C. I'm gonna still keep, my workout going. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. That's a good idea. So you tackled a lot of stuff for the crib. I'm going to go the opposite route.
Mm-hmm.
There are things you can do when you don't have any space in your crib. One of those things, which I am a big fan of, is jump rope. Why? Maybe you don't have a fly park by your house where you can go and just hit a track and field situation and just do laps. Cool. But you probably have a small area where you can jump rope. Jump rope does not take up a lot of space, and you can go and do that. If you're taking little Tommy to the park and little Susie to the park, you can take a little section of the park, and while they're doing their thing, you can hit that jump rope. Yeah. All right. Yeah, mommy will be right here. Daddy will be right here. And you can get a couple minutes in, whether you're doing interval or not, and you can get a nice sweat. Another thing is, which I embraced and was totally not down with before, is running. Now, they say that running is very harsh on the body. That's true. So be careful. Now I'm going to argue, and I'm being a little bit of a jerk here. Sitting on the couch all day is very bad for the body. Get out there, get a run, get some sweat going, and you can do that. Another thing, Dre mentioned resistance bands. I'm going to say something similar, which is there are things like ankle weights, wrist weights. This is my watch, but I'm just showing my wrist. Wrist weights. There are different things. They got the weighted vest. You know what I'm saying? And these are things you can buy that even if you have zero room in your crib, you can go to the park and just get that same yoga mat size space and just get busy. You don't need a lot of room. People are supposed to be 6 feet away anyway. So within that 6 feet, you got enough room to do these things. You can hit the weighted vest, even if you're doing like Dre said. He said he rides his bike, then he does these things in the park or wherever, little space. You could take that weight. Listen, you're right. You can only do push-ups with your regular 200 pounds. But if you got that weighted vest on, it's a little different now. It's a bigger, you have more reach. Another thing you could do if you have no room in your crib is body weight exercises, like he said. And you can do that. Another thing you could do is there's a lot of boxing stuff. That's one of the things that I got into. I got into it because a friend put me onto a very specific interval type workout, and I just modified it for home or the park. I had 2 different variations, but even if you don't have a friend like I do, you can go online and look up all type of different like shadow boxing stuff, and different things that they have. I found something with jump ropes. That's part of why I mentioned it. There's like they had this really dope like interval training style thing with jump ropes. There's just a lot of different things that you can do if you're outside. So I know that in big cities, you don't have a lot of room in your apartment, or maybe you have a family, and I understand you may not have a lot of room. Maybe kids are running around the house. Maybe you could take a little quick break outside. But if you take your kid to the baseball field or to the park, even just a grassy area, you could get on that grass, which is not going to hurt your body as much as that concrete, and you could do a lot of different things. So these are some of the things that I would recommend. And who knows, maybe we're wrong. Maybe none of this is going to happen. But really, like, a jump rope is dirt cheap. And you could get either a speed one or a weighted one, whatever you like. They got all type of different joints. And, that's one of the things you could do. I think running is really dope. Swimming is really dope, but everybody doesn't have access to a pool. everyone doesn't have access to like the track and field hard rubber areas. And concrete is very harsh on the body. So I understand if people don't want to do that, but there are still other things that you can do. If you look up HIIT on YouTube, there's a lot of those type of workouts that can be modified for home or just small confined spaces. We've already spoken about how it's not really high interval all the time, but the point is you're getting a good sweat, you're getting a good workout, and and you can do that even if you don't have any room in your crib. If you live in a one room shack and you've got no space at all, you can step outside and do some of these things. So those are some of the things that I think you can do outside of home. Inside, they have a lot of stuff that you can do. Dre mentioned some really, really good things, but I just wanted to speak about outside because I know in big cities, which is more likely where the lockdowns will happen, or more likely where people won't have access, like this New York City pass shit, you may not be able to do anything in your crib. So those are some of the things you can do outside. And I see one of my friends, she did something very creative. She's into kettlebells, and I see her and like a bunch of other people that she's cool with, I guess. They be in like the park doing kettlebells. I saw them in like a parking garage one time doing it. And I ain't snitching. I think it's awesome that they're doing this. I applaud it. I think, and I've told her, I think that's really cool. They just on some like, yo, they'll put on social media like, yeah, this Sunday we at this park hitting the kettlebells. Come through.
Yeah.
And I think that's dope. Kettlebells are something that I'm not into, but it is something you could get into, and it's not something that takes up a ton of space. So
Yeah.
I don't know the pricing, but this is another thing you could do outdoors.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people, and that's good that you mentioned the outdoors, because there are a lot of people who have classes outside, especially when the lockdown happens. Because when the lockdown happens,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, parking lots are free, mall areas are free
Yeah,
because no one can go anywhere. So it opens up a lot of outdoor space.
yeah,
I know a lot of brothers, who do like the whole boot camp thing. They'll take over a section of a park, and you
right.
can like look up like boot camps in your area. They'll probably be outside. So now
There
is
you
the
go.
time to start looking that up and understand what that pricing is, or seeing who does what. Because they have different
Right.
boot camps. I know they do Tai Chi outdoors, if that's
Yep.
your, flavor, and that's also a good workout. One thing that I liked and I enjoyed when we had the first lockdown, and I hope we don't have a second, was a lot of cats, you saw it on TikTok and Reels and stuff, a lot of cats just started roller skating. It's like people were just roller skating all over the
Mm,
place and just recording their roller skating. And it was
yep.
like just beautiful, man, just to see people in skates just doing
Right.
their thing and having a good old happy
Right.
time. And roller skating burns burns a lot of calories. You know what I'm saying? Just roller skating around. It's an
Yeah.
aerobic activity. So yeah, you can look to do for things
Yep.
like that. I know there are people who are doing like roller skating classes and stuff outside. They just take over an area and just like a bunch of
Nice.
people just roller skate around, and they play music out of a little,
Right.
Bluetooth, stereo, and so that's another activity.
Yep.
So yeah, as we always say, you want to find things that are fun for you to do, and if there
Right.
is another lockdown, finding something that's fun that you enjoy, that maybe you're curious about, and say, hey, let me give this a try. Start doing some of that research now, so that you're a little bit ahead of the game.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a good thing. And again, maybe there won't be any lockdowns, but perhaps these mandates that we're about to start discussing, perhaps these mandates will change the things that you have access to. So we just wanted to provide some resources, some ideas that could help you still do the things you want to do and stay on point. Because for me, that was part of the challenge. When the lockdowns first came, I just started getting back into the swing of things at the gym. I just was like starting to be really on point. And then the lockdowns came and was like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Right.
So, I just thought that that might be helpful. So I wanted to just discuss that. So that's it for me. Um, That's it. Anything else you got to add?
That's it, bro.
That's it. So let's get right into it. Since we've been gone, since you've been gone, no. There's been some developments. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that shit. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of mandates going on.
No doubt. A
You know what I'm
lot of
saying?
mandates. Yeah,
And
it's getting crazy right now.
actually, what's gangster is that's why, power to the people always, baby. You know, the New York City squad got together
Yep.
and Judge put a temporary hold on all that nasty shit. They said, "Oh,
Yeah.
word, you're trying to do what? No, no.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
With all that unconstitutional garbage.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
New York is going through some things. You know what I'm saying? Going through some things.
I mean, the whole country is
So
going through some things. You know what I'm saying? The whole
you're right
country.
about that.
You
You're
know?
right about that.
So, and, the part that I want to really get into is, making decisions out of like fear and sort of like one-sided. You know what I mean? So, and like you said, we got these mandates going, and now it's like, you know, we tried having you take the vaccine with giving away things, and we tried, having lotteries and $100 and all this other stuff. And diehard cats are like, yo, I don't want to take it. Now, did some of that work? Of course, some people did take the vaccine, with that. But people who don't want to take it still have their apprehensions. And our president just made an executive decision to say, I don't care what your apprehensions are, you taking it.
Right.
If that's that.
Actually, I just want to add something because I'm seeing a lot of people blurting out and reading the headline but not the fine print. He definitely did do that. Biden put it in where there's a mandate if you have 100 workers or more, and if you're a federal employee, and I think state employees too, but don't quote me on that part. And it states that you have to get vaxxed, and that's the headline. But the part people are not saying is or get tested weekly. Everyone seems to be stuck on the headline, which is Biden makes it a mandate that you have to get vaxxed. There's actually an option for you to not get vaxxed, but get tested weekly.
Well, that's the mistake. Yeah, and that's the mistake part, because what you're saying is, and this is why it's a policy that's just inundated with failure and set up with so much failure, because what you're saying is, okay, those people who got the vaccine, they're vaccinated, they're immunized, they're safe. There's no possible way they can have the coronavirus. The only carriers of the coronavirus are those people who are untested. So we got to test those people regularly. But we know that is error, because we all know that even though you have the vaccine, you can carry the coronavirus and spread the coronavirus. So to think that, oh yeah, we only have to test the people who are unvaccinated, that's error number one. If you're going to test on a regular basis, like mandatorily test on a regular basis, test everybody, because everybody could carry it. You know what I'm saying? And I mean everybody. Everybody? Yeah, everybody. Like all adults, all kids, everybody has to get tested. And if you're not going to do that on a regular basis, you cannot just pick out a segment of society and just say, these are the troublemakers because they didn't succumb to, or they didn't, take this vaccine. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big error. And with that, it's like a domino effect, right? So it's like with that, now that we got that in place, error number one, error number two is like, well, everyone is like putting their guard down, right? Oh, if you got the vaccine, you can go to the club. If you got the vaccine, we're opening up Broadway. You can go see all the Broadway shows again. You know what I'm saying? You can go see Hamilton, right? You can go to the concert. You can go to the Met. You can go to all these other places because all you need to show is your vaccine card. And once you have your vaccine card, then once again, in error, you're letting mad people come in. They don't have to have masks, and they're all gathering around the way we used to be. And all that's going to do is allow the virus to go around. And then what you're going to have is what we already saw: people who are vaccinated contract the coronavirus, get sick, or die. And that to me is the most interesting part, because now what you're going to say when someone says, I came from so and so to go see Hamilton in New York because it was shut down for so long, and that's the only thing I really wanted to do, and I got the vaccine and I had such a great time, and then shortly after I start feeling sick. Oh, well, that policy is in flaw. It's a flawed policy, and it's made out of desperation. You know what I'm saying? It's made out of just like fear. And it's not, even though they say, oh, we believe science, but that policy is not based on science. That's more of a wish and a prayer. And it's like, you're better off just saying, hey, we don't understand what this virus is going to do. We don't know it. We can't get in front of it. Every time we think we're in front of it, it mutates to another variant. And now we have to like start from like ground zero again. You know what I mean? Go ahead, you can go.
My man said, "Tag, you're it." Yeah, I mean,
nah, I'm just saying. No, I don't want to, take the whole thing.
Nah, baby, it's always time. Don't worry about it. Get them thoughts out. Share those thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things you said I've been saying for a minute, which is, and I even said it to my boss. He didn't like it, but I didn't really care. My thing is, you want everybody to be vaxxed. Again, for the millionth time, I'm not against cats being vaxxed. If that's what they want to do,
right,
cool. But now when we're talking requirements, now when we're talking mandates, now when job applications are saying must be vaxxed, that's when it gets a little crazy. And one of the things you touched on, which I've been saying from the jump, is when are the cats who's vaxxed getting tested? Because I could be getting tested. Listen, I get tested weekly for work. It started before the mandate for me. At my job, they was so straight up like, listen, we ain't waiting for anybody. The new policy is you don't have to get vaxxed, but if you're not vaxxed, you have to get tested every single week. I'm like, all right, great. I was already getting tested like bi-weekly and monthly anyway. Cool. But my question was, and I made sure for HR purposes, I'm complying. I said, sure, no problem. I'll gladly do it every week now. But I would like to know, I need to know, when are the cats who's vaxxed going to get tested? And I sent articles that show, back when the thing happened in Massachusetts, these outbreaks that are coming, and studies are showing, oh, yeah, that outbreak, 74% of the people it came from vaccinated cats. I'm sending information like, here's your man Fauci saying in the nasal passage, we see that coronavirus, the virus is the same in both vaccinated and unvaccinated cats. And then he goes on to elaborate in layman's terms. That means it could be both caught and spread by those who are vaccinated. So again, hey, listen, I'm cool with it. Y'all want to get vaxxed? Go get vaxxed, baby. I'm not a hater. But when you start putting these mandates in that don't make sense, then I have questions and hesitancy. Because my thing is, all right, cool. I ain't vaxxed, but I've never had it. I've been masking, I've been social distancing, I've been washing my hands, not touching my face, all that good stuff. I haven't had it. Every PCR test has come back negative. So I'm good. But what about him right there, though? But what about him right there, though?
Right.
They're vaxxed and that's
Right.
it?
It's a and that's why I feel like we have to change this verbiage, because it's not really a vaccination, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because you're using the word vaccination, it is giving off false hope.
Yeah.
Well, people believe that they are immune, like they have this shield now that
Right.
I cannot get this thing. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And so we gotta find different verbiage, because what we're really saying is we want to get to, the coronavirus isn't going anywhere, and it's going to be mutating. Who knows? Delta,
Right.
beta, gamma. Who
Right.
knows, right?
Right.
But it'll always be these variations. Maybe one worse than the other. Whatever. It's not going anywhere.
Yep.
So
Right.
it seems to me the idea is, let's make sure everyone is asymptomatic, meaning that you
Yep.
have this thing, but it don't give you no real hospital-like symptoms where you got to go to the hospital. You have it,
Right.
maybe you get a cold or something, or maybe you get it, you have basically no symptoms. So it's like you want to get everybody in society asymptomatic, or just small symptoms where, give it a week or two and they're fine. Then say that to the people. Say it's not a vaccination. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you get a cold, you get cold medicine. So call it medication or something like that. No one says you're vaccinated from a cold. It says, okay, it's you get this cold, or so you won't get a cold. You take this or you take that, but nothing vaccinates you from it. And I think that's giving it false hope once again, because people are putting their guards down, because they're believing, and it's not their fault. They're believing in their government. They're believing in what their government is saying. And we realize it's become political. It's become less science driven and data driven and more just political. And I feel that because the United States put so much money in it, right? $1 trillion, whatever.
That's what I said. Right.
I just want you to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like you wasting my money. I'm seeing, millions of vaccinations, virals, just get wasted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so they're feeling like, well, we just got to make people do it. And that's the wrong way to go about it. So that's act number 3 in terms of like failure.
Yeah.
And now dealing with the whole political shit, it's like now you're demonizing people. You're demonizing cats who, for whatever reason, don't want to take it. So first thing we know is the virus contacted about 39 million people before we even had a vaccine, right? About 39 million people got it. And that means that's 39 million people walking around with natural antibodies in them. And we just saw a study that says your natural antibodies, if you caught the coronavirus and you survived it,
your
better. Body made natural antibodies. Not maybe. It's 27 times better than the vaccine. That's already documented.
That's what the study said?
27 times better. Yes. 27 times better. I can show it to you. I'll give it to you later when we log off.
Yeah. Post
27 times better than, no doubt. 27 times better. So you're saying even those people, approximately 39 million people, have to take a vaccine when they already have natural immunity? Like, the president is not thinking. You know what I'm saying? Then you got people who have immune issues. They might have cancer, whatever. They have other immune people. Some people have lupus, all kind of like immune
Yeah.
issues where it's like, I don't really want to gamble with my immune system by putting something in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they are what you call immune compromised. There's millions
Yep.
of people who fall into that. You're going to force them to take it too? You know?
Yes.
You got people who are like just faith-based. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Faith-based cats who are just like, yo, you know, I'm not really trying to go there. I mean, what you gonna do? Like, you have indigenous people who live in tribes, who live in reservations. You know, you're gonna force
Right.
them to take it. You have
Yes.
who's those cats that don't use it any electricity?
Amish.
With the horse and buggy, the Amish.
Amish.
Yeah, you got the Amish cats. Amish cats, there's been no signs that they even have it. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna walk into Amish communities, you know, who don't even like get down with anybody. You're gonna force them to take it. So it's like, this is not well thought out. It's a desperate move, and the fact that you're demonizing people, it's going, you know, it's trickling down. So
Right.
you have the population, all the other citizens demonizing other citizens. So
Yep.
the freshest thing what just happened is the whole Nicki Minaj shit, which I'm sure you heard about
Right.
already, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, yeah. So, and just real quick, like, Nicki was like, okay, these are my reasons I don't want to take it. These are my apprehensions. So because of that,
Right.
I'm not coming to the Met. I'm not coming to the gala where all the stars
Right.
are going to be. Yeah, normally I do go, but because, you know, y'all already said if you're not vaxxed, don't come. So I'm gonna respect y'all wishes and not go. That's why I didn't show
Right.
up. But now she's being demonized. How dare you? How dare you use your platform to uneducate people? I'm like, she didn't do that.
Right.
She didn't tell people not to take it. You know what
Nope.
I'm saying? She's like, I'm not taking it. That's
Right.
all. And if, you know, if cats want to take it, that's their decisions, but respect my decisions and don't bully me. And she's
But
right.
that's the thing.
Because that's where we
That's
at
the
right now.
thing.
Now you're bullying people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you
No,
off,
you
but
go.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's really weird. It's like we want to live in so many hypocritical layers, right? It's like everyone needs a platform, everyone needs a voice. That's why social media is so important. Until you say some shit that goes against the agenda, then it's like, oh nah, shut the
Right.
fuck up. Oh nah, you're the enemy. Oh nah, harass this person.
Right.
But what happened? Just 2 seconds ago, women's voices were so important. Just 2 seconds ago, we were all rallying to push the black woman forward. And now, because this woman is sharing her experiences, she spoke about herself, she spoke about family members, she's speaking about her experiences, she's telling her story. And like you said, saying this is why I'm hesitant, this is why I'm choosing not to, and this is why I won't be there. And now it's like, oh yeah, everybody's saying fuck her. Everybody's harassing her. But I don't understand. I thought it was not okay to harass women. I thought it was everyone needs to be able to share their story. I thought we were embracing black women and their struggles. What happened? Just 2 seconds ago. Just like that. Thanos snap. Everything changes.
Right.
Why? And that's the shit that's retarded to me. I know that's not a PC word, but this whole conversation ain't PC, so fuck it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, yo, it's all turned sort of upside down, like you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all these things that we say we believe in has kind of gone out the window. So yes, those voices that you're saying, everyone's voice is valid. Well, basically everyone's voice is not valid. Because even within the science community, you have disagreements. People are still trying to figure it out. And because it's become weaponized and polarized, we can't sit and have an intellectual conversation to really try to figure this thing out. You know, it's just take it. You know, so put it like this. And on the mainstream news, and I really hate to use that because even that term is just turned into whole something else. But in the big news, you know, the people with the biggest platforms, cats who die in the hospital and haven't taken the vaccine, they've been blowing them up. Oh, this right wing crazy person who was an anti-vaxxer, they died on this table, and this one died on that table. Okay, that's news, no doubt.
Right.
But when people die and they were vaccinated, you really don't hear about that.
Nah,
You know
very
what I'm
hush
saying?
hush.
It's really small stories.
Yep.
Yeah, it don't make it to the national big CNN, MSNBC
Because it
platform.
doesn't fit
You
the
only
it
hear
doesn't fit the
about
narrative.
there you go, brother. Exactly. It's like if you're gonna report the news, report
Yeah,
it.
they've been stopped
You
doing
know,
that though.
there are people who are dying. Yeah, it's like there are people who are dying who are fully vaccinated. And rather than you figuring out what's going on, it's just shh, don't
Right.
tell anybody. And that's the problem with Fauci too. It's like, you know, Fauci has said numerous times that he's given not the full truth because he wanted to portray a particular narrative. You know what I'm saying? So think about when it first happened. When it first happened, it was like, oh, we ain't got to worry about it. You know, you don't, you know, people don't really need masks and stuff like that.
Right.
Then he switched it and was like, okay, everybody wear masks. And when they asked him, they was like, well, Fauci, first you said people need a mask. Oh, yeah. I only said that because I didn't want everybody to rush out and get a mask because the emergency cats wanted. Okay, so you deliberately lied to adults so that and put people's lives in jeopardy.
Right.
Because you thought that adults couldn't handle the information. So you treated everybody like kids. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And it's like when you do that, you are showing people that, hey, when I get in front of the camera, I may not be honest with you because I'm trying to control the narrative here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so when
Yep.
people call him out, it's like, son, I'm not on some like, you know, anti-fire Fauci type shit, but I'm like, yo, a lie is a lie and the truth is the truth.
Right.
We're all big boys and girls now.
Right.
Give people the real information, the real data, so they can make their decisions.
Right.
There are a lot of people who say, "Hey, I've been looking at the data. I've been seeing what's going on. You know what? I'm gonna go take the vaccine. I think I'm
Right.
ready now." Great. There's a lot of people who are like, "You and I'm still apprehensive. There's a lot that I don't know. I'm not, you know, I'm just
Right.
not doing it." But to just pretend as if in our society, the only people who are spreading this virus are people who are not vaccinated is just not the truth.
Right.
It's just not the truth. And we're going about this all wrong.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? We're going about it
Agreed.
all wrong. Yeah.
And one last thing I want to add before we move on is it was one of your earlier points, but
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to respond. I didn't want to cut you off. Is the reason they keep calling this a vaccine is because of legal purposes. It's about liability. You know, it's about being able to say, hey, Jay took the vaccine, Jay passed away, or Jay got terminally ill, and we're not responsible. My family, if I pass or I get terminally ill, will not be able to do anything legally because the government has labeled it a vaccine. That's part of the legal precedent that has been set a while back with vaccines. So that's why they were quick to make sure everyone knew it was being labeled a vaccine. So that way, if and when things happen, no one is liable. You can't sue Pfizer, you can't sue Moderna, you can't sue Johnson and Johnson, or whoever Tom, Dick, and Harry comes out with next. So that's why it's continually being called a vaccine. That's why the quote unquote booster shots are still under the vaccine umbrella, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be called a vaccine, and I've been saying that since the very beginning because it doesn't follow the same things. And you know, again, if something happens, and we've seen things happen, now it's like, oh well, you took it though. You took it, so that's your bad, not our bad.
Right.
And that's why I continue to say then mandates should not be in place because If no one is legally responsible, what you're saying is that, well, fuck it, too bad. And it's fucked up. It's really, really
And
sad that you're saying that to an entire nation.
right. And that's the thing. That's probably like my last thing is that, you know, when people ask, well, why you don't want to take it, right? And I lay out the things I just laid out. But my biggest thing is like, hey, this country that's telling me to take it are giving me zero assurances,
That's
right? There's zero assurances. If something happens to me, I'm on my own. The only thing they're going to tell me while I'm laying there in the hospital is, oh, I'm sorry this happened to you. But, you know, statistically, less than 5%, less than 1%. You know, the thing about statistics, statistics are statistics until it happens to you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to hear about, hey, you know, these buildings normally don't fall, but, you know, I mean, they haven't fallen. I mean, it's less than 1%. But when that building falls on you, you don't want to hear that. You want to get your life back together. So my thing is, number one, government, you put the burden on me, and that's an issue. You said I can't sue anybody, and you didn't set anything up so that if something does happen to me, there's a safety net in which I can you know, live on until things get better. Perfect example is Singapore, and I think that's what happens in America. We stop looking at other countries.
Because we only concerned
this
with
whole
ourselves.
Delta variant. Ourselves, right? We're very, you know, we got blinders,
tunnel vision.
You know, the people, we got blinders on the city. Yeah, but you look at, you know, the whole thing like India where the Delta variant started. Two things I want to talk about. One, it seems like India is starting to develop different type of vaccines to deal with it, meaning they're going through a nasal type spray.
Okay.
Because we know the coronavirus goes in the nose.
In the
and
nasal
so they're
passage,
developing something that can go direct in the nasal passage to, you know, get up in there with the mucus and stuff. Because that's the first contact. You know what I'm saying? Which to me makes more sense. It's like, okay, your body has, when we think about the immune system, people are just thinking about the blood. No, your body has so many different systems that contribute to the immune system. And the first thing is like your skin. You know what I'm saying? And your mucus. All this stuff like protects you. You know, you have wax in your ears. Well, why do I got this wax in my ear? That's your body's like natural defense to keep things out. Yes, we clean it because we live, you know, in a society that says to clean it. But if we was living in caveman days, whatever, I mean, you don't know what might crawl and go in there. So your body creates this like wax. That's another defense to keep things from out there. So it's like the immune system is a complex thing. It's not just your blood cells. So why would you go through different layers of protection and go all the way to your last defense, which is your white blood cells, and start the fight there? Like, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's an army that's coming to get the king. Okay, we're going to just protect the king. Wait a minute. You're not going to protect the castle. You're not going to protect the moat. You're not going to protect the beach and where they're coming from. You're going to wait till they come right to the king and then protect them there. That don't make no sense. The last thing I'm saying is in terms of a safety net, and that is look at Singapore. Singapore wanted their people to take the vaccine, right? And some people were against it for it, whatever. So they said, hey, listen, if you take the vaccine and something happens to you, we, the government, has developed a fund. And if anything happens to you, we're going to take care of you.
Got you.
You just apply to that fund and you're good. So if you're out of work, you can't pay bills, you're in the hospitals, you're going to just draw money from the fund until you get better. I'm like, wow.
There you go.
That's what's up. For a person like me, that would make me feel way more comfortable. Because it's like, okay, I'm taking this chance, but my government is telling me, thank you for taking that chance. You know, thank you for taking that risk. If anything happens to you, bro, I got
Right.
you because you're a citizen of this
Right.
country. Our government isn't doing that. There is no fund. There is no safety net that says, hey, if something happens to you,
Right.
we set up a fund to make sure that you can pay your bills, that
Right.
you're taken care of. We have a special hospital set up so that you can stay in there and get yourself together. Or if you have to quarantine at home, you can draw money from this place. Much like yourself, hey, I live by myself.
Right.
If something happens to me, that's it. I mean, is if someone's gonna be making sure, oh yeah, we got this thing set up. There's money there. You can get people to get your groceries.
Right.
You can DoorDash all you want until you get better. That would make me feel 100% way better to be like, all right,
Right.
I'm taking a risk, but I feel like my government is, got my back. So
Right.
it's not about that people want beer, and it's not that people are trying to get a chance to win $1 million or to have Broadway tickets. That's garbage. Set something up to let people know, if you take this thing, we have a fund that will help you get through it. And in Singapore, they said the fund is set up probably about 2% or 3% of the population had to go into the fund. Most people didn't have to. So that's dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, it's there, but a lot of people don't have to use it. It's only been a few people, which makes sense, because if you're saying, well, these adverse reactions only really happen to less than 5% or less than 3%. So that means only about 2 or 3% need to go into that.
Right.
Fund it, let those 2 or 3% use it,
Right.
and then we can move on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents. We can kind of move on from there, but we definitely need to look at this more intelligently. Let's look at other countries. Let's see what they've been doing to get their population to take this vaccine.
Right. Yeah. Mad air quotes on that shit. I agree.
And let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out. Let's roll out.